Go ahead. I don't know. I mean, obviously, first day, as everybody knows, there's great energy on the first day always. I think the guys understand they're hungry to what they're doing, but we're really in that mindset of developing football players. And I think that it takes a lot of attention to detail. There's some things we did in the off season here just in the last month, trying to use our 2 hours really wisely to help us really get to take that next step as football players. And so our big focus this whole spring is how do we develop the talent of football players as opposed to just those guys that you saw run around the combine or those guys that through the winter got all those different testing numbers, but now taking that next step developing football players.
Have you tweaked your approach to your second spring practice here at all?
Definitely. And again, it's all where we are as a team and as a program. And last year there was a lot of things we had to do. We had to find out who was competitive, who really, when the lights came on, would compete, who would fight, and who would scratch and claw. And a lot of those things are done in the winter, and that's what you really want to be able to do is enhance the toughness and the mindset of your program. And we did. So we're a step further. We're a year ahead, so that's why all the focus really is on developing football players.
Saw a championship belt at the end of practice. What was that all about?
Doing the little things right. And, from hydration, I mean, we keep stressing that the only way to get better at this game is to play it. And you got to be on the field in order to play it. There's off-season, there's all those different things. Like you said, last year we were about building mental toughness and really trying to find out who we had as competitors. Now we're about developing football players, and you got to do the little things to keep yourself on the field. And so little things like that about who's hydrated, what group as a whole came out here with the right mindset when they got to the locker room. So we're trying to evaluate every single possible thing we can.
Does that get awarded daily? Or how does
it's going to be awarded daily. It's something a little bit new, but we try to tell them all the time that we don't just ask you to do the little things, and they aren't important. So if it's going to be important and we're going to spend some time and effort on it, then we're going to recognize it. And some guys would call it silly, and at times it is a little bit silly, but we want to know how important those things are to us, that who's the first guy in the building and who took pride in not just eating but hydrating and taking care of themselves over the weekends.
Talk a little about the cornerback position, because it's obviously a spot where you lost a lot in terms of experience.
We did. We lost a lot of experience. We lost a lot of some age and some guys that have been around here for a long time. But to be honest with you, I think that's what's going to give us an opportunity. Sometimes when you have older guys, sometimes when you have some guys that have been there and been through a lot of different things, the growth is a little bit more difficult. And for young guys, and I got to kind of refer back to having a couple players of my own a few years ago, and all of a sudden those guys left. They were really good players. They left where they go to the NFL, they graduate, and then all of a sudden it's like a light comes on for a lot of younger guys. They were kind of stuck behind some things. And I think I see that in that group. I mean, we had some guys who had a good idea that were going to be the guys that were going to get most of the playing time. And what that happens to some young guys is sometimes they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't feel that fire and that energy every single day. And it's almost liberating sometimes when those guys leave, because now they know, hey, this team's counting on us, and we got to do a lot of different things. So I think it's put us a little bit of pressure on them, but I also think it puts a little bit of energy and a pep in their step, and knowing that they got a great opportunity for us.
How does T.J. Johnson figure in?
Well, we have high expectations. Again, we have to see him play a lot more on the football field, but he was one of those guys last year that, at times you were kind of looking around thinking, oh my goodness, I think we might have some guys that can't play that could really help us out there, and he's going to have that opportunity for us. And I think he could do a lot of different things. He's a guy that's got some versatility. It's played at a really high level. He's seen it played at a really high level, and I think he's got a great attitude about what he's doing. Sometimes you have to have something taken away for you to realize how important it is to you. And I think last year that's something that I continue to remind him about, is something that was taken away, that he didn't have an opportunity to play, that I think fuels that fire even more.
Malik Van didn't look like a high school kid out there.
He hasn't looked like a high school kid, as you've seen a lot of the transformation. It's still difficult. All those young guys. I mean, I think Ben looked like he had seen a ghost a couple of times just because there's more energy and things out here, and guys are flying around. And then all of a sudden, when it slows down a little bit, they blend right in and don't miss a step. But between him and Malik and some of those guys, I'm sure it was a little bit nerve-wracking but eye-opening. But we have high expectations. Our idea is not to redshirt, especially a guy like Malik.
Some shuffling in the middle of the defense between Brian Wright getting a look somewhere else, and Malik Clemens and Tyrell Gilbert. And you just talk about the philosophy of maybe just getting guys different looks in different spots there.
Trying to find a way to get our best 11 guys on the field. And Brian Wright was something that when he got hurt last year, I kind of grabbed him and pulled him off the side, even on the road trips, and really just tried to kind of start to work with him. And his future, I think he's got a bright future in this game of football if he really wants it, and to put him in a position where he can do a little bit more for us. He's got a great football mind. The football IQ is off the charts. I've had a lot of success with guys who were quarterbacks in high school that translate into being a quarterback on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that's what we're going to see, and give him some opportunities to do that on at middle linebacker. And then obviously Malik a little bit last year played some good ball for us, but he's a bigger guy by nature, and it's a lot of the things that we're trying to do. And so we kind of moved him down a little bit to play a little bit more of that hybrid nickel Sam backer for us. And again, just trying to find ways to create competition and then get the best 11 on the field.
I know a guy you've been very high on for a long time is Derek Forrest, and he got some looks with the ones today. You just talk about his upside and potential and what he is.
And I think that's one of those things too. You have an opportunity to have some youth, some guys in those rooms, whether it's Derek or James Wiggins and Murph and Malik. So again, we think we've got a few guys that we really like their abilities and we think can help us. So we've got to find ways to move some other guys around, and it also creates a lot of competition over there at the Sam spot too.
So basketball wins a championship yesterday. Coach Cronin has said that he's said to you, it didn't happen overnight for me. Has he tried to kind of, advise you?
Oh yeah, I try to hit him up all the time. I watch, study their program a lot, and I thought it was awesome. Obviously yesterday with winning with defense, and I think that's the way of the future and a lot of those things. And I know the pretty thing is to see guys on the basketball court score 90, 95 points, but same thing on the football field. And what we really want to do is model a lot of things after what they've done. They've developed the guys they've got. They've had some incredible guys over the last few years, and like I said, I'm just learning it and new. But I think that gives me the opportunity to study it and how he's run the program and how he's developed the program and how he's been able to sustain some great years. And I think that's the key. I got confidence. I know we're going to get ourselves there. Now it's the ability to be built the right way, so like them, that we can sustain the greatness when we get there.
Talk a little bit about the coaches that have really hit the ground running as you go to practice here.
Well, there's